Abusiafo mo bibia kwa ba emfa ombra Mega TV and platform we eso. Alam Kwadwo Kyeremante ni new political party UP United Party no. Ene Dr. Zaato a political analyst the way no okasa edema NPP ni Dr. Alhaji Bawumia. Samsona ura ye fe no Kofi Bentil imani Ghana president ono so ekasa edema NPP ni Bawumia. Ena Dr. Ejudite Makulu NDC legal private lawyer practitioner or so one of the NDC legal team no member. In fact, National Petroleum Authority CEO or NDC aban emu. Samsona ura ye friend Solomon Owusu and so a senior commentator in Alan's new party awati United Party. Na 7.4 we a clash on a year UP either say obe sustain and now say unsustaining. Yanko na yiti sanse ni bi yakoba ibetwaso.
Hesitation and any equivocation that this new UP plus will have zero and an infinitesimal impact on the NDC NPP duopoly.
They will have what?
Zero impact. Zero. Infinitesimal. It will not happen.
Infinitesimal.
Infinitesimal. Yes, I hope that I pronounced the word well. I also state that the ultimate objective of this party is not to win power. It's not to become no. The ultimate objective is to hurt His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and to prevent Bawumia come. This is a party that was conceived by the hatred and the dislike of Bawumia, not by any political ideology. If you want to understand what I'm saying and understand, I'm not a soothsayer, but sometimes I do this. You must ask yourself a question. Have you ever heard of President Rekrurobe? Have you ever heard of President Pakwesi Indum? Have you ever heard of President Guzitano? Have you ever heard of President what's his name? In fact, just put it there, President Obed Asamoah. You've never heard about them. The history has told you, and there's a reason why you've not heard about them. They all have one thing in common. At one point in time, they belong to a political party. And then due to various reasons, mostly associated with successions, presidential successions, they left their home, they left the mothership. And whenever they left the mothership, they perished. Again, that is what the history has told us, that whenever they leave the mothership, in this case, when you leave your main political party and you go somewhere, you perish. You perish because when you leave your own political party and you go somewhere, people see you as selfish, people see you as greedy, and people see you as unprincipled. And precisely because of that, they punish you. So let's go. I just want to do something quickly, small. Like, you've already done it for me. That's what I'm saying. You've done my whole presentation for me. But I want to zero in on one person in particular, Dr. Pakwesi Indum.
Yes, man.
Dr. Pakwesi Indum. When J. Kufuor came in and preached his all-inclusive government, he brought Pakwesi Indum. And Pakwesi Indum was one of the most stellar performers in the Kufuor administration, no matter what you see. First, it was charge of public sector reforms, then later energy, and almost all the reforms you've seen in the energy sector, he brought them. Excellent, wonderful performer. Then he left, went back to his mother party, which was the CPP, contested the 2008, was it 2008? Yes. And he got almost 114,000 votes. That was what he got in the CPP, almost 140,000 votes. Placing about 1.3 or 1.7 there, about 1.7% of the total vote. Yes, you want to see that. Then something happened. Also, because of succession problems, he left, formed his own Progressive People Party. And you want to see his performance in the next election was abysmal. He dropped, just by a small, I tried to do some rudimentary maths here. I think he lost about 50,000 votes and fell down to from 1.7 to, you have it at 0.59. So when he was so, in fact, if you see it, he was better off on the mothership, on the CPP.
Pakwesi Indum was better off
on the mothership,
than
where he went up. And that has come to define. Rekrurobe the same thing. When he was with the NPP, he left and came. History has told us that the voters humiliated him. The voters humbled him. We've seen that Guzitano, the same thing. And the same thing with Alan Chamata. You want to understand. The thing is that Rekrurobe could have an excuse. What's his name? Pakwesi Indum could have an excuse. Because before this time, none of them had run in the primary, in the national primary before. But Alan had. So Alan had national experience of running in national primary because he contested Akufo-Addo in the 2007 primary. He also contested other primaries. So by the time Alan was breaking away, He should have come with all the pluses that you need: name recognition, face recognition, national exposure, because he's done that. He went around the whole country campaigning. But look at the results that he got in the 2024 elections. Numbers don't lie. This is not about numbers. Despite all that, I want you to understand, it was in 2027 that he became Alan Cash, and everybody, in fact, became so popular that he was using a song, right? Sarkozy had a song, Alan Cash.
So the Alan Cash was from 2008.
Yes, exactly. I'm trying to make a point that he had national recognition, so much so that pop stars were using his name in their production. And then what happened when he faced the voters?
0.3%.
So it tells you something. That's what I'm saying today. So if you are, what's the name, into betting, and you ask yourself, where should you put your money? I'm saying just look at the numbers. Look at the numbers alone and look at the history. Nobody who bets will want to put your money there because you know where it happened. The history of Pakwesi Indum, the history of all these people tell you that it doesn't happen. In fact, the motto in this country is, you better together. Because Ghanaian voters are aspirational voters. And so now that's why, again, the data is Musa Dako was making the point about the floating voters, or the voters, and even Ashanti. Again, the Pakwesi Indum story and Alan story also made it some way. When Pakwesi Indum was leaving, the idea was that he would take the central region votes. That he was more popular in central region. And so this idea was that, and remember, central region is one of the floating regions in the country. So if you capture central region, you cause a lot of harm to both the NDC and the NPP. So the idea was that, he will capture the central region vote and become powerful. It never happened. A similar narrative will be forcefully fed, that if Alan leaves, he will capture the Ashanti region votes, denying the NPP serious oxygen in the region that they need. Again, you can see it. And as the data doesn't lie at all. The data they also tell that it doesn't happen. And there's a reason. Voters like to think that the voters want their vote to count. The only way your vote can count is that that's why they look at candidates that they think are promising, candidates that I think can win. And so they can like you, they're like, can you win? Can this guy win? And that's why sometimes you see that sometimes even in poll letters, there's something called break. There can be a major break for a candidate when something happens and this now you cannot win. It's a similar thing happened between Trump and Hillary Clinton in the run-up to US elections, when Cuomo released that data that said that they are reinvestigating. That singular... Comey, yes. That singular act made voters, especially floating voters,
October to remember.
October to remember. In fact, the October surprise is etched in the US electoral history. That incident made voters say, if this, because remember, there was a narrative that Hillary was crooked.
And she was hiding.
She was hiding things.
She was using the private emails.
So the moment Jim Comey said, we've seen this, the voters bought it. And they didn't want to waste their vote. So the point, that's what you are beginning to say. So I'm saying that for this one, it's not just about history. It's not just about politics. It's about history. It's about data, and it's about what we call, if you look at it, it's a trend. If you do a trend analysis.
Well, you for the NPP, UP Plus, some have described as a direct threat to you. You say that you rather see the formation of this UP Plus as out of bitterness and not necessarily to win election.
Yes.
Why?
Because look, political history is important, but so many of the people voting today are not students of history. Even if they are students of history, they understand this. The UP Plus was, as some say, one of the most antagonistic to people of the CPP. So if you're an old school politician,
you mean the UP?
The UP, sorry, the UP. So if you're an old school politician and you still believe in this thing, you have a problem right there. The NDC tells you some of their roots come from Nkrumahs. So that's why there are so many Nkrumahs, they find themselves very comfortable. That's also because you are looking at the ideological divide in Ghana. And if it assumes left-right ideological platform in Ghana, the center-left is dominated by in fact, the NDC has cannibalized the CPP on the center-left. So if you're already a center-left politician and you have the NDC, you are not looking for another center-left. If you're looking at the center-right tradition in Ghana, the NPP occupies that position strongly. So there's no other. So if yours is an ideological argument, if yours is an ideological analysis, you are comfortable with the center-left, you have the NDC there. If yours is a center-right, you're comfortable, you have the NPP there. So on what basis? And that's the point I'm making, that the data keeps telling us all over. The data keeps telling us that this does not happen. And it's data I'm talking about, just data. end the history.
So the diagnosis of Dr. Zaato is that the formation of your party is out of bitterness, essentially, for the NPP. You don't want to win an election. You are just out there to get the NPP. But it says data shows that's not going to happen.
First of all, if I were to ask, or I was to ask the Zaato to define what bitterness is, it will be very difficult this month. He's just using word anyhow. Yes, bitterness.
Define
how is he going to define bitterness? Did he join the NPP because
the university professor this question?
what is the definition of bitterness?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so
Let me give him 30 seconds.
well, is bitterness a term of art?
That is what I want to understand.
Bitterness is because Alan has been thinking that he has
No,
been...
what is your definition?
Oh, I'm telling you in this context. He's thinking that was the heir apparent. He's the big man who has been there for all of a sudden. This small Pepe New Cramofo Akwadawe Abe Bitino. So he's like, how can me, this big Alan Samaritan, Alan Cash, sit down and allow this small...
So that
is the bitterness. That's the thing. And so he cannot come to them that. That is what I mean by what? Bitterness and jealousy of the UP.
In the last primaries in Sisala East, where my brother took part.
I lost massively, yes.
I'm coming. Don't go there. This morning, I have time for everything.
Okay.
When he lost graciously, he stood before the people and said he had even left the NPP. Was it bitterness?
That's a lie.
Be a lie?
That's a lie.
How did you transition from your Sisala East to Nandom? Is it Nandom? Nandom is Upper West, right?
Okay.
Why did you transition from Sisala East to Nandom?
What is
you stopped even playing the politics of Sisala East to Nandom. Was it bitterness?
Okay, thank you.
So
can I answer the question? No, I don't hold it. You cannot ask me a question. You cannot ask me. I have never been to anywhere to do politics apart from Sister Lace. You know what happened? In 2008, 2012, 2016, and 2020, I wasn't in this country. I never registered to vote. I was in Canada.
If you like, I challenge you to open your phone lines and let the people of London coin.
Okay, hold on.
I'm telling you, I wasn't in this country.
Okay.
Wait. It's not an in-house thing. No, don't make it. We don't know each other. So let me explain. Thank you. So in 2008, 2012, 2016, and 2020, I wasn't in this country. I didn't register. Good. Then what happened is, when I came to contest the primaries,
okay,
the argument was that people said somebody sent me. Yes. Actually, people said that Honorable Ambrose Derry, who is my in-law, had sent me to come and contest in Salais to defeat somebody that he had a conflict with, Honorable And so they told the people that there's a reason why, that's why I didn't come to vote into this decision. But they didn't tell the people that the reason I didn't vote in this thing is because I was not around. They told them that I was voting in Nandom. They told us, and I can tell you today, I'll put my PhD on the line. So get the voters register from any of these constituencies, Nandom, and see whether you can see mining Dr. Joshua Jebunte Zaato on it. If you see it, I will relinquish my PhD.
Thank you.
So you have confirmed that people associated with Nandom.
He's explained that.
It's sufficient enough.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right.
Now let me say that
Let me say something. Quick one.
Let me say something, Mr. Host, please.
This, you know my name.
Mr. Okanse, Nene, Akofi, Alfred. Please. This is key points. I'm saying this is key points.
Indeed.
So let us go by the rules as we have established here, as we have evolved over the years, of key points. It's not that kind of, let us stick to the issues. That's all I want to say.
So the first point is that our party was not formed based on any bitterness. We are a group of men and women that believes that this country has gotten to the point that we need another political party to win power, political power, to change the course of governance. There's business of data. Data is good, yes, but it's history. In election 2028, every political party will be starting from point zero. We will not say, or the Electoral Commission will not say that you had 55% in election 2024, and so that is where your starting point. We are all going to start from zero. When we formed the movement for change in 2023, mind you, Alfred, we are confusing issues. Mr. Alan Kyerematen contested as an independent candidate.
Right.
not on the ticket of any political
party.
What it meant was that he did not have the benefit of parliamentary candidates in all the 275 constituencies who could have worked for him. He did not have constituency executive, polling station executive, regional executives, national executives as a vehicle that you could ride on to win more votes. And so you could be right. Mind you, the movement that we brought was movement for change. What were we looking for? We thought that the NPP was mismanaging this country. And so we needed to distance ourselves and fight for the change of this country. The people of this country accepted the idea of a change, but they said, look, it was not your time, so the NDC benefited from it. And the data is showing. When you are interpreting data, you have to find out why all of a sudden there was a huge drop in votes in the Ashanti region. That should give you an indication. Now, this idea that whether you like it or not, there is NDC and NPP cannot hold. Because you see, if we are to go into even the football arena, when we started our football in this country, the Ghana football, from the 1956, if you had asked anybody who had been following football from even the 70s and told the person that a time will come, Kotoko and Haas, you will not be finding them in the first two, nobody would have believed you. In today's Ghana, we play Premier League and Kotoko and Haas struggles to even occupy the 4th and 5th position. Because of the same mindset that, oh, as for us, whatever you do, we will still win. And so they started doing anything anyhow. The UP has come with a strategy. Say organization decides everything. If our coming was not impactful or it was not going to have any impact, I'm not too sure you will have the MP for Wale Wale, Kabiru, go and sit on TV and say that they are already threatening a legal action against the name.
Well, they said that there's an attempt to dilute the history of the NPP, and so they're going to court on the strength of Section 10 of the Political Parties Act.
We will meet them there, but I would be very surprised. I mean, we have lawyers, and we will meet them there. But the point is that, contrary to the view of Zaato, that it is going to have a zero effect, zero impact, zero everything. His own a member of his party, who is a member of parliament coming from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's hometown, is already threatening. Though I have not heard any of the lawyers make that point, but he, as an economist, is saying that he's going to court. Why? Because his view is that we have touched the heart and soul of the NPP. That's number one. Number two, already their second vice chair is insulting Mr. Alanjemati, cursing him. That why has he gone for the soul of the party? As we speak, if you go to the Ashanti region, and I'm speaking on authority, that all those that were very much affiliated to the UP have said that their party has come.
They said their party
has come. They have been waiting for the UP all this while. So if you have Zaato sitting down here and saying that's going to have zero effect, I can only leave him to glorify in the very things that he believes in. We are very much focused. We are going to start grassroots mobilization, mobilize from the polling stations to the constituencies, to the region, to the national. Sell our message to them, the message of hope, unity, the message of transformation. Give it to the people of this country, and let's go into election 2028 and see the candidate they are bringing. In any case, I don't see how you can equate even the whole entire NPP to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. I don't think so. I don't think that those that are contesting will even be happy with you. So there is nothing of bitterness. It is pure political pluralism. We believe that Ghana needs more parties to as it were, advance our democratic cause, and we are doing just that. And I believe that as he's wearing yellow today, which is our party color, maybe the way he's able to transform within a short space of time, he will join our political party and he will be welcomed.
Dr. Zaato, you are expecting that Dr. Zaato will join your party? The UP Plus.
If you saw how he insulted the people who voted against him during the last election, I wouldn't be surprised that he joined us.
On that path of the bitterness you referred to, I think it will be fair to have Dr. Zaato retract that earlier.
Absolutely.
Description of I'm coming of what, in his view, bitterness is, and some words that were used to describe Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, which he says in his mind is the bitterness Alan is feeling. Dr. Zaato,
I use words saying that I was him as a small but penny. I withdraw those.
Perfect. Thank you. Kpebu, if anybody goes to court on the strength of Section 10, the Political Parties Act, on the use of a name, is one of the issues that is being brought against this UP plus because of the name UP. Would this suffice?
Well, the jurisprudence is still evolving because there are not too many cases. But so far, based on the few cases that we've seen in Ghana, I doubt. Let's start with the last election. PNP, that's Nabile's party. Yeah, PNP was Liman's party in 1979, right? Yet, the EC didn't stop Nabile and Kofi. So the PNP is an offshoot from the PNC. So last year, they registered it as their own party, and nobody stopped them. So if the EC didn't stop the Janet Nabile and Co from having PNP as their party, I doubt that the EC can stop the Alan Tremante from using UP as what do you call it? Party. Yeah, party name. Yeah, because it's very difficult. Because there will be no logic. There will be no. Of course, I reckon that the life of the law is not logic. Okay, sometimes, but in this particular case, ordinary citizens will not accept it. That if PNP today, Janet Nabile and Co, they have their PNP, which was, we all know that PNC is an outgrowth of Liman's PNP in 1979. So why do we have PNP today alongside PNC? So if it exists, UP should also exist, right?
I see, because if you look at the dictates of Section 10, and I quote, no prospective political party shall submit to the Commission for the purpose of registration under this Act any identifying symbol, slogan, color, or name, which is the same as the symbol, slogan, color, or name of any other registered political party, or of the Republic, or which so closely resembles the symbol, slogan, color, name of a registered political party or the Republic as to be likely to deceive or confuse members of the public. The question is whether UP is still a registered political party.
I think the reasoning would have been different if, for instance, they have decided that they will call the political party PPN. PPN.
Right. Which would
have just been a reversal of NPP. So what this particular provision actually was to resolve is a situation where you want to mimic. And you notice that post the enactment of the Political Parties Act 2000 Act 574, the political parties that have been formed subsequently, the law does not allow you to reverse it. So I remember this conversation came out strongly when our founder, may his great soul rest in peace, Jerry Rawlings, when Mrs. Kunedu decided to set up her political party, that was the Democratic something.
NDP. National Democratic Party.
You see, we have NDC.
Yes.
And she wanted NDP. And so I remember vividly that it was a topical conversation that she crafted the name in that particular way, basically for the sole purposes of creating confusion in the minds of voters. And sometimes it is not only the name, even the symbol. Maybe the NDC has the eagle. The person can just bring the vulture.
On the umbrella.
On the umbrella. Just to create distortion, because again, whether you like it or not, we still have a large rural populace. The level of sophistication changes with the demographics. And it will interest you to note that even with all our sophistication and 32 years of doing this democratic experiment, we still have spot ballot papers in the region of almost 200,000, the last election, spot. You can imagine, with all the education that we have done, we still have people spoiling their ballot. Just a matter of just doing a thumbprint on a candidate. 200,000 of our people. And in fact, if you check the last election result, if you put all the minority political parties together and all the votes they obtained, spot ballot political party had more votes than them.
True. Absolutely.
You understand? The political party registered as spot ballots attracted more votes at the last election than the registered political parties who spent money campaigning. So what it tells you is that a little mimicking can have potential damaging thing. But that's significantly different
from this UP plus.
From the UP plus. Because in this case, there's no registered political party in Ghana today called UP. The only reference to UP is that sometime in our political history, we had a political grouping called the UP. Since 1992, we've never had any political party by name UP. Mm-hmm. And like we always say, in terms of the law, you cannot say you have that exclusive because in the past there was some association called UP. In any case, which one of the members of the NPP today completely were members of the UP at that time? Very few. Zaato, I'm not sure. Not any one of us here. And so the suggestion, even remotely, that you can take charge of the UP as an intellectual property, quote unquote, of the NPP as constituted today is completely misleading and should not be encouraged. The Alan,
one of the other objectives is to break the duopoly between NPP and NDC.
I am not too certain of that intervention.
Why is that?
In the sense that, look, post-1992, and again, if you go to the United States of America, they have done this politics for 240-something years now.
Even Canada was
yes. The Republican Democratic duopoly has survived. What it does not suggest that within this period, there have not been attempts by others to set up political vehicles. It has happened. Ross Perot and the rest tried. What became of them with the benefit of time? It is a matter.
I'll come to you.
Okay.
Council, I'm going to actually come to you for your substantive point on this. Just conclude.
So the point I want to make on this issue is that I have a great deal of respect for my learned senior Alan Kpebu Kyerematen. Great deal of respect. I think when he became a lawyer, I was barely 2 years. And that's the level of respect I have for him. In terms of what he has done for himself as an individual, it's a matter of public record. Let me put on record. At the time, Mr. Alan Kpebu Kyerematen, as the president of the Young Executive Forum, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was a member of the NDC. At least by way of association with his father.
By way of association.
With his father and mother.
Yeah. And mother.
And mother.
Okay.
Because at that time, his father was the chair
of the NDC.
Of Jerry Rawlings' Council of State. That shows his strong attachment to the NDC.
You mean Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia?
Yes. And I want to believe that if we were looking at young politicians in those days, that possibly the NDC had eyes on, up-and-coming technocrats, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would have fallen among that. Especially so when Dr. Kwabena Dufo, then as deputy governor in charge of HR and administration of BOG, brought him into the Bank of Ghana, right? Mm-hmm. And his transition subsequently as deputy governor under President Kufuor to assist Paul Akwa. And the fact that if you read Arthur Kennedy's book, Chasing the Elephant into the Bush, The Politics of Complacency, Arthur Kennedy takes us through what was happening, because at that time he was the communication head for candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And he makes the point that Nana Addo's choice of running mate for the 2008 election was Haji Alima. It was when there was resistance from Haji Alima, then the idea was, okay, let's look for a different person. One, Boniface was suggested. Nana said no. Boniface was
the current chairman, national chairman of UPP.
Yes, was suggested. Then Nana said, look, Boniface was too close to Alan. Many other names came. In fact, I remember the Lepora, the late Alaji Jawula.
Yes, MND Jawula, yes.
And many others whose name came up at that tail end. Finally, if you read Arthur Kennedy's account, Ken Ofori-Atta strongly pushed for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's candidature for the running mate position. And that is what. And in fact, at one point, when he named Bawumia, Buzia's sister, Ama Buzia, in Arthur Kennedy's account, makes the point that when Bawumia's name was suggested, Buzia's sister said no, and that it would be a betrayal of his brother, Prime Minister Buzia, because I don't know what happened between Mumuni Bawumia and Buzia. Yeah. I think there was what appeared to be a betrayal in terms of the politics, and said, look, she will not permit that. And Ken Ofori-Atta is recorded to have remarked that every name Nana comes with, you have an issue with it. What is it? Finally, the key issue then was that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was not a card-bearing member of the NPP. Mm-hmm. At that point, the NPP constitution stated clearly that to be the running mate, you should be a member 5 years in good standing. A disqualification that Bawumia had at that point. So, a National Executive Committee meeting happened at Alisa Hotel, where President Kufuor, Kwabena J.J. and co were in the meeting. At that time, the General Secretary was Nana Ohinto. Yeah. So that was when it was then suggested that, okay, he should be given a special dispensation. So the NPP constitution had to be more or less relaxed in order for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to be given that waiver to permit him to partner with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for the 2028 election. I mean, today, Providence and others have helped him. He's gotten that enviable position of becoming the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party. That is what life and the chances associated with life can give.
Okay.
But, like we say, those whose kennels have been cracked for them by benevolent spirits must also demonstrate some level of magnanimity among others. I see persons associated with Dr. Bawumia often tout Alan Kwejo Tremantin. It is not a question of bitterness. I do not think it's a question of bitterness. It's also a question of service.
Okay.
Because at a very critical stage of the life of the New Patriotic Party, that there was a man called Alan Empretech.
Yeah.
He used the Empretech platform.
While you round up for me.
Yes. To build young entrepreneurs who today are doing extremely well in diverse areas of life in the NPP, what we call today the New Patriotic Party. So therefore, when you have, life, make it better for you against others, I don't think it's a question of bitterness. I just believe that it is life and all the issues, forces have worked in your favor. So on this note, I just want to believe that Alan is well placed. He has, served this country well in diverse ways. Ambassador to U.S., Minister for Trade, and done all kinds of services to this republic. It is within his rights to form a political party and name it with any other name. The only thing that he's not permitted to do is to name it along religious, tribal, and the other lines.
I think the position of
UP had come. But my challenge is that if UP is coming out of NPP, then what we have now, UP, United Party, then what we have left is a divided party.
Well,
exactly, and then we have which is the divided party.
Thank you.
Very well.
Hold on. I want you to make the point because
UP and DP.
Yes, UP and DP.
Brother Gyampo, I'll come to you now. No. You let's. Thank
the NPP is now DP.
Thank you. You brought some order to it. Thank you. You look at the candidate. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Digital Maclo ended on the person of Alan Kyerematen as against the decision to come on the ticket of a different political party than the NPP. Musa Dankwa referenced that, and Solo also make the point about the umbrella or the kind of candidature Alan Kyerematen was going into the 2024 election. It was an independent candidate. He didn't even go on the ticket of the Movement for Change. Can that really change now that he is coming under the umbrella of a political party? Looking at the person of Alan Kyerematen and whether he's going to pose a threat to the NPP and the NDC, because that's one of the objectives, to break the duopoly of the two parties.
Yes, so you're asking, can it change?
Yes.
Yes, in principle, yes. In principle, yes, because you see, there is this thing about human nature, right? There comes a time, human nature loves this variety. You can't run away from it. Like, earlier when I was saying that, you remember last year, I was always doing the smoke. But when you read the social media comment, oh, Kpebu, we are tired of the smoke, So we had to now go and look for a jacket and come here. So one thing is very clear, right? That within the next 20 years, this duopoly will break.
20 years?
Yeah, within the next 20 years.
Not the next.
And 2032 would be in my sense of it, reading, talking to other professionals, they feel like, no, we also should come together and then make a go at it. Because, you see, look, let's speak bluntly. I mean, the politicians we've had, is there any extra skill? Any extra abilities? No. You see how Akufo-Addo had been touted as the angel, the best that we're yet to get. When he came, you see how he turned out to be the worst. So it is taught professionals, the middle class, that, look, this thing is not really that difficult. Actually, it's about personal character, right? And so a lot of the people in the middle class I talk to, lawyers, accountants, etc., they feel like, no, in the not too distant future, they're also going to step up, and then something would happen. Let's not forget, in the past, TUC tried it in the 70s. So the TUC tried it, but that's 70s, over 50 years ago.
Yes.
The fact that it didn't work doesn't mean that it will not work tomorrow. So the key thing is that as we evolve, as the economy gets better and people get jobs, you see, the whole thing is hinged on economic freedom. Right now there are no jobs. So we have a huge patronage system. So you meet people who in private, the kind of things they will tell you, they can't say that in public because they are scared. Job security. So if you're in the government sector, you don't want to be seen entertaining such thoughts. So it's only those of us in the private sector who can speak freely. So I see that, look, the moment you see the economy making progress, that there is a huge job mobility. You can move from one job to the other. So there's that economic freedom. our politics will be different. Because you just asked. So let's say, for example, Eduje and I are here. We are both lawyers, right? So typically, I'm not sure that Eduje has done something at the bar that is so puts him well ahead of every lawyer he came to meet. No. That today we would say, no, Eduje should lead us. No, there isn't anything like that. So we are looking at the skill set. So the more we look at the politicians, those of us in the middle class and private sector, then the more we see that they're just like us. But the difference is that they've joined a party. And usually, especially when it comes to elections, etc., you look at it and say that, look, I don't want to risk the vote by giving it to Alan Tremanti. Don't risk. So you see, 2024, I'm happy Musa Dankwa repeated it, was an exceptional situation because we're just hell-bent on making sure that the NPP doesn't come back again. So don't risk giving your vote to Alan, etc. I'm telling you that 2028, Alan will do better. Oh, that one is certain. He will do better because it's almost a given that NDC will not get the votes that they got, that gap. They won't get it in 2028. It's a given.
So it's a given.
It's a given.
Based on what indicators?
Because, you see, it's human nature. As I say, in 2024, we wanted to make sure that, look, NPP doesn't come back. So everybody said, look, let's give it to NDC. It was an exceptional circumstance because Akufo-Addo's governance was so stinkingly bad. Stinkingly bad. The lawyer who was said to have prepared for 40 years came and delivered such an abysmal performance and was ably supported by Bawumia. So you see why Bawumia will never be a president of Ghana. That won't happen.
How do you make such an statement?
Bawumia doesn't have the skill set to be president of Ghana.
Based on your verdict. Based on your verdict. Hold on. No, gentlemen, hold on. See, wait, gentlemen, you see,
points are made. It's in your interest to allow them to pass.
Exactly.
The more you interject, you give them the opportunity to hammer on it.
Thank you.
That's not in your interest.
Hold on.
Yes.
Please.
So
that's the person's view.
So one thing is very clear that the theory about variety, okay? And as we've seen that, when it comes to politics, it's actually about character. So more people in the middle class see that they have character, right? It's kind of because now certain things are a given. When it comes to university degree, all those, there are certain constants. So I'm talking about the things that set us apart. So you meet more professionals and they see that, this level of governance, I think I have enough character to be able to help Ghana. So something is going to give. Something will shift. That one is clear. And especially of the Gen Zs not being tied to tribal lines, etc. So we haven't seen our politics evolve fully yet. Even America itself. So we come to the point, Eduje, where I wanted to interject. America has not always been the Republicans and the Democrats. No. In actual fact, you see, this first name, when Jefferson, the third president, formed the Democratic Party, it was actually Democratic Republican. It was a joint name belonging to the Democrat. Democratic Republican. You can Google and see how it turns out. And in their history, other parties have come and won the election. So you hear about the Whigs. The Whigs were very popular in the US and the UK and other people. You say, so it's not a given that NPP, NDC will survive. No, actually it won't happen. It's not in human nature to continue NPP, NDC. No, yes, Dr. Zaato said it. Center left, center right. Yes, main ideologies. But the constant thing in human nature is change.
Change is constant.
Change is constant. So that time will come where we would want to change, have something else. And that's why I'm thinking that it's good Alan is starting now. Where he stands the better chance will be 2032. Let him accept that age.
But that would go contrary to your position about age.
Age, yes. So the party thing. So then it's good Solomon is behind the younger ones. Alan may try it in 2028. He won't get it. But by 2032, Alan's party, Cheddar's party, Kwame Bediako, that's the future. With the Gen Z's coming, some of us will be supporting because, like I've said, the key things that you look at, Eduje and I are lawyers. So you look at Eduje, then I look, is this some divine thing? No, a point will come, we'll throw in our hearts. Because we look at it and we see that, no, we can also do it. You meet a lot of lawyers and they're like, it's a question of time. So just mark it. Anybody who tells you that it will always be NDC, NPP has not studied history enough. Just Google the US, Google the UK. You would see that it will come to a time we will be tired. So we just say, look, you know what? I mean, come on. It's the same thing. We are all human beings. We are looking at character. So the character you have, there are other people who also have it, but they are not in the NDC, they are not in the NPP. So let's try the middle. CSOs, etc., will come together, and then it will be
another rise.
So that one
of the kind of third force that you talk about.
So the third force, that one is given that someday it will ripen into something. That definitely. Anybody who tells you that third force will never ripen has not studied history enough.
Perfect.
No.
Professor Prof Gyampo, you see, and it's interesting how you make an emphatic statement and the verdict on the political future of some of the persons we are talking about today. And Alan Chamanting to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia that 2028 is out for them. Well, Solo and Dr. Zaato will not agree with you. But you see, Professor Gyampo, he'll be your running mate.
If you don't stand, let's look at 2032.
I see. He'll be your running mate. Interesting. Prof Gyampo, you see, Musa laid the foundation about how things look like in 2024. But then was very quick to underscore the fact that things look different this time around. We cannot look at Alan Chamanting as the same person going into 2028. Does he have that mettle to break the duopoly, or he's a spent shell, as some have described him?
Well, if you're looking at what is happening in our political history, it will be an erroneous judgment to describe Alan, as somebody who is a spent force. First of all, let us know, in political science, when we say something is a tradition, it means it is a custom, a belief, or a practice that has been handed down from one generation to another over a significant period of time. So the practices and happenings in our Fourth Republic cannot be described as a tradition, yet, because the history of our Fourth Republic is still evolving. We have had a hung parliament before, which never used to be the case. And for the first time in our political history, you have a ruling party that has 2/3 majority in parliament. It has never happened before. Now, none of the attempted third force leaders, in my view, have the kind of qualities, persona, and pedigree of Alan. And so, in my view, he therefore cannot be relegated to the background. If things work hard, if he works hard,
in your view?
In my view, if he works hard, he can make serious incursion into future elections. The poor performance of third force people cannot be described, like I said, as a political tradition.
Perfect.
Because things are evolving, and if this man succeeds in taking a chunk of votes from the Ashanti region, and if he succeeds in bringing back the disgruntled NPP people who believe that the party has deviated from its core UP tradition, he will be a force to reckon with in future elections. Let it never be said that Alan was not even popular in his own party. People who say so don't know, they either don't know what happened in their own party, or they are deliberately being oblivious of some of the things that have happened. Okay? I know what I'm talking about. Listen, before, when Edu Buahene failed to win elections, the elections of 1992, do you know that Alan was then the head of the Young Executive Forum? And do you know that he was the one who was actually proposed, not even J. Kufuor, he was the one who was actually proposed by those who were actually funding the party, the Young Executive Forum. They proposed him to take over from Edubuahene. And when he was reluctant about it, he faced the wrath of the funders of the party. Around that time, Kufuor had not even been considered. Okay, so now look at the trajectory. Look at how he's come, how far he's come.
Yeah.
He gave in to Kufuor. Afterwards, he contested with President Akufo-Addo. And after Akufo-Addo, we saw how he contested also with
the 2007 primaries.
Yes,
a strong showing.
Yes,
so
yes.
that buttresses the point you're making.
So he's not an infant. And let me say this: people don't know. I know what I'm talking about. In the lead up, the NPP itself has got its own tradition. How leaders or successors are selected. Okay? How successors are selected. They have it. It appears that this time around they decided to deviate, from that that succession, practice that they have over the years, resorted to. But the point is this: people don't know the Alan. Let me put it this way: Alan was very, very, very popular among the top echelons and even the grassroots of the party in the lead up to their own primaries, the first one and the second one. The first one was to sieve the numbers to 5 and then bring it. It was very, very popular. But people do not know what happened, the day before the primaries that sieved the number to 5. I know what
something happened.
Yeah, a lot of things happened. That's how I'll put it. And let me conclude briefly on that by saying that the day we will be able to address treating, the day we'll be able to address election resource purchases, the day we'll be able to address what is popularly described as monetization or monocracy in our electoral politics, we'll be able to appreciate who rightly is the preferred choice, or who the people who are election makers really like to lead. But so long as we continue to grapple with the issues of monocracy, the choice of the people would always be difficult to be ascertained. Because you can see clearly that this is the choice of the people, but last minute things happen and things can change. And I am so worried that we are on a certain tangent in our democratic practice, such that if you have money, you should be able to do anything. You should be able to win elections. And democracy that is about the choice of the people, democracy that talks about the expression of the sovereign will, appears to now be for sale to the highest bidder. And it is unfortunate. But moving away from that, let me make the point again that I've seen what Musa Dankwa has done, how he thinks that Alan will fare. But I want to make the point that, look, it will be an error in judgment for anybody.
This is history. It's not a reflection of the current. This is just what happened in 2024.
2024.
Yes,
okay.
As you see it.
Yeah, okay. So, but it will be an error of judgment on the part of anybody to say that, look, we should not give, an attempted third force seeker a dog chance. Because, like I said, things are evolving. And the fact that over the years, people who wanted to lead as third force have performed abysmally cannot mean, or does not mean, that things cannot change. Because for the first time, we had a hung parliament. for the first time, you have a ruling party that is dominating parliament with 2/3 majority. It tells you that we are still evolving. And like Martin said, people have now grown to appreciate the fact that the conduct of politics and people who seek to, it is not a big deal when you see people who are parading themselves as our leaders. They are also human beings, and sometimes there are people who have not joined politics who are better qualified than people who are joining politics and people who are seeking to lead. And so gradually, if you speak to people, people are thinking that, so why don't we all also join to help improve the lot, of our people? So it cannot be said that we should be relegating some people to the background simply because of our duopoly. I mean, with time, if things are changing, with time, you'll be seeing some of these third forces also springing up. And then, like Martin...
Alfred, maybe just a quick, just 30 seconds.
Quickly.
You see, I didn't do political science. He's a professor in that field. I think we should clarify a few things. You can have a third force. There's no question. But we should also appreciate that politics is also a function of time and moment. And so it is easier to have a situation where somebody emerge out of the moment for a cause than a grouping to emerge suddenly. So it was unthinkable within a certain period to look at an Obama emerging within the democratic space, within that space. But it was just a question of moment. Then there was an Obama, and then there was a phenomenon, and then it fizzled. Okay. You understand? So you can have UP coming in. The only thing significant really is that it reminds us, and maybe we should also find out why did we have a UP in the past?
Okay. Well,
and whether it is politically relevant today that we can have something coming out of the divided party.
Okay.
I think
all
that's
right. So gentlemen, hold on. No. I'll give you. All right. So here's how this is going to end.
Yes.
You would cap it all up because I started.
Fantastic.
All right. So just to conclude, I mean, I don't have much to say on this particular issue. Just to make the point, emphasize the point that it will be judgment error for anybody to think that we would not ever have a potent third force that can upset the duopolistic practice, within our fourth republican democratic practice. Things are evolving, and so you'll be living in a fool's paradise if you think that, it's always NDC, NPP. And like Martin said, no ruling party maintains its goodwill in perpetuity. You may have all the goodwill like the NDC has now, but in the next election, if it was 100%, you are sure that it would reduce to about 90%. And in the reduction, people may be thinking about the other parties. As for the NPP and their chances in the next elections, I mean, I think it's been discussed. If I were them, we spend much time restructuring and repositioning yourself, but it appears that they've gone beyond advice. So nowadays, we don't even want to publicly advise them. We leave them on their own and let's see. But we pray that we are able to strengthen our political parties such that we would give true meaning to multi-party democratic practice as enshrined in our constitution. In political science, when we say that a country is a multi-party democracy, it means that you have more than two political parties of more or less equal strength, such that in any major electoral contestation, it becomes difficult for one party to win an election with clear majority without the support of other parties. But it appears that in our part of the world, since 1992, even though we have had so many political parties, we are not like Mali that has at one point in time had 1 or 4 political parties. Even though we've had many political parties, essentially or practically, we are becoming more and more of a two-party state, such that one party can win elections without the support of the other parties. And I'm praying that we should strengthen our political parties and encourage third forces to also to be emerging, so that we can give true meaning to multi-party democratic practice. Said that NDC should not be able to win convincingly without appealing to the other parties. NPP, should not be able to win an election without.
Into a coalition.
Thank you. Well, but that is what happens in multi-party democratic. That is what happens in multi-party democratic
democracies.
Practices. So that we are sure that you don't have people just going to form political parties just for the fun of it. People form political parties not just because of the ultimate objective of capturing political power, but because of other frivolous, reasons,
which we have seen in the past. Some parties spring up only when we are going into elections. Mr. Dankwa, finally, you say this fortune will change. All things being equal, based on what you're looking at, because the dynamics are different. NPP is in a position now. Yeah. You have Alan Chimantin coming under the umbrella of a party.
Yes.
Now,
look, we did some survey in April, asking people who they intended to vote for in the election and how they actually voted. You could see that what happened, and indeed that was why Mahama got that landslide, was that
this one.
Yes, about 53% were going to vote for John Mahama initially, and 39 for Mahmoud Bawumia, and 8 for the other parties, including Alan Chimantin. But on the election day, what happened? Mahama got 59%. So Bawumia lost technically about 3% of his people to Mahama. And those who were voting for the other parties dropped by another 3%. You could see that there were slightly last-minute change in people's mind on the election day. Now, if the desire was not to get rid of MPP, we wouldn't have seen what we saw in the last election.
Perfect. So that's when we activated the body count.
Okay, thank you. So I'll give you the last word on this. And all the comments that have been made. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hold on.
Great comrade, Dr.
Indeed. That's fair.
Activated the body count.
That's
the
fair.
MPP saw it as voodoo.
All the comments that have been made, some others analyzing critically the person of Alan Chimantin and whether things are going to change. And how are the coming days going to look like for you based on what you have heard?
Let me say that we are discussing the United Party. Alan is not the United Party. Alan is part of the United Party. In fact, he's the leader of the United Party. It's a democratic party that will go through elections if in the coming days, any of us sitting here would want to join the UP, and if you contest Alan, is welcomed. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if Martin is contesting Alan for the flag bearership position? So it is about the United Party.
I will campaign for you. You're not contesting.
What is going to happen is that, or what has led most parties that come fresh not succeed, is that they come without any strategy. Organizational structure. Organization decides everything. We have thought through this carefully. And I can tell you that in the coming days, you will be seeing the United Party in your constituency. You will be having your executives there. You would hear us more visibly. Alfred, you would agree with me that ever since election 2024 was over, you can find communicators of the movement for change on every platform, as against all the other political parties, with the exception of the NPP and NDC that contested the election. Has it crossed your mind? We are following a particular script. And that is how come you see us always and always on all platforms, not just in Accra, across the entire region. We mean business. So people must not be quick to write us off. We know the perception, the mindset. That's why I use the football analogy. I told you that it used to be Kotoko and Haas. Now it's no more, to the extent that any football club can even come today and win the league. The Ghanaian population or the voters are becoming very complicated and very delicate. Because what they are looking for, the team you, the Gen Zs, they don't care about your history. They don't care about whether I was born into the NPP or NDC. All that they care for is about whether or not after finishing school, they will get jobs. That is what is at play. So I want to assure every Ghanaian that come election 2028, number one, you will find the UP on the ballot. Number two, you will have parliamentary candidates in all the 276 constituencies. Number three, you have our polling station agents. One thing I didn't tell you about election 2024 was the fact that 95% of all the agents that Mr. Alan Jameson assigned to the polling stations were denied access to the polling stations. We have a classical access. We have a classical example of someone that traveled from the United Kingdom, and the man is here to Cape Coast to cast his vote. The very polling station he voted, Alan got 0. Then in the coming days, we are going to do some levels of expose.
It was because of the cameras.
Hold on.
It was because they activated the cameras.
The person, he flew to Ghana purposely to come and vote for Alan Tremanti. He voted for Alan after the election. The man got 0. And you know what? Before the election, did you hear the NPP say that Alan was going to place a third to Cheddar?
Yes.
So all their concentrations was focused on on Alan, but it is going to be a totally different ball game altogether in 2028. We are going to go all out. We were there when we were part of the building of the NPP. At least I was there when TESCOM was formed. We built TESCOM to the levels that became attractive. We are going to use the rest of our energies, all the team members in there, to build a vibrant and a robust political party called the United Party. After all, the NPP says the UP is their tradition. So if you are a soft set and the universal set is there, you must as well better join them and let's build a better Ghana.
I see. Thank you. Quick one, because he's going to leave us.
On this same analysis. Yes. Now, in your much earlier analysis, you made the point that on D-Day, the election day, there was something that happened in the moment that switched a certain votes that were meant for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and a sudden
3%.
switch. That 3% is a very significant number.
Yes.
I want to find out, was it a question of messaging or it was a personality and a trust issue? Because that is key. If it's a trust issue, then you need to find out how to sustain that trust. If it's a question of messaging, you need to find out how to fulfill that. Because these two are very significant, or it should be paid for.
Okay.
Absolutely, I was going to say.
It should be paid for.
One that can't go free.
Okay, thank
Yes, Emily, I just want to add something. At the launch of the party, you said that the NPP is now Nana People's Party, but you did not define Nana People's Party. I defined Nana People's Party as the people Nana appointed into positions. And Alan Tremanti was one of the people Nana appointed for 6 years. So technically, Alan is in Nana people. Nana is Alan people. Alan is the Nana person.
You've asked
At the formation of this political tradition called NPP in 1992, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia was 28 years. He never joined the NPP. He was a member of the NDC by attachment. As of 2007, he was not part of the NPP. 2008, he became the running mate of the NPP by virtue of the fact that Nana Akufo-Addo single-handedly appointed him and brought him into the party. From there, he skilled and schemed everything, shut everybody smart, made sure that if you had a contrary view, you were sacked from the party, and brought in only people that were aligned to the NPP, to Bawumia, including Dr. Zaato. And so, if I talk about Nana People's Party, it's about this current group of people. They did not have any clue about the NPP. They only became NPP by virtue of the fact that Nana Akufo-Addo became the flag bearer and president and hated Alan Tremanti so much
That he appointed him.
He hated Alan Tremanti so much.
So why did he appoint him?
And let me tell you something. When he gave him the Minister of Trade and Industry for the first time in our history, agencies that were under Alan, one day we will have that discussion. He took it all from him.
Agencies and
agencies. He created special initiative and gave it to Howard Kumsin. The one district, one factory, the NPP's manifesto that Alan wrote the trade portion of it. That he brought in the idea of one district, one factory. Now Akufo-Addo created an office and took it to the presidency. And took it there.
And he did not. And based on all this, he did not resign. He did not resign. He still did not resign. Based on all this, he still did not resign. He still stayed.
All the agencies under the Ministry of Trade and Industry, I sent someone there. By the time he gets there, Akufo-Addo has sent his representative there. Was he working with Alan?
So I think it's a fair question to ask that.
Yes.
In the midst of all this, why did he still stay? Why didn't he resign?
Alan has. First of all,
Okay, hold on.
it was a question of.
Hold on. Thank you. Hold on.
It was a question of serving Ghana and also a political decision.
Hold on.
If Alan had left the administration, it had political consequences and ramifications. Alan stayed, believed that in spite of all this, he could still prevail. And that was how come, in spite of the fact that he later on went for the 1D, one district, he was only given a budget of 400 million, whereas the bogus NACO that was for top, they gave Alhaji Bawumia and his people close to 4 billion Ghana cedis just to go and share among themselves. So this is what we are talking about. Okay. To be able to leverage on his credibility to woo the private sector banks to invest in the 1D, 1F and then establish close to 296 factories at various stages of completion. That is the man we are talking about.
Quite a number of your messages. I'll just read it because we're going to go into the next issue. Mr. Dankwa, appreciate you coming. As always, it's been a start.
So that is it. Enti uti mkomona eko sona. Nache se, yupi ni die sebi obrusi binyado. The aim any se omunso ebe wini elections. And as I've already stated earlier, no, NPP toto omunema year. Sorry, say UP toto omunema year. Ombetimi adominate MPP. In fact, between Krofua or MPP, majority of them they become MPP, they become UP, because we share and draw me platform be more a year UP no and I know we discuss it. Now me check a comment about 80% to 90% of the comment section no actually more UP no MPP for Ekoswayo who say ya. People will come and join, and even people were conversing. People were what? Confessing, saying, "Umbeden, free MPP mu abe joining Alan." In a reason, say BC Solomon Owusu how si kasa. Ibinso say, "Oh, Alan chairman thing how si comporto ne home." You see, enti Alan the UPD. In fact, good grounds. If one is there opposite or any party in here, the party will be what? Very attractive if only they do things right. So the party will have, a dominance over MPP. And I've told you, MPP and the more say no, Sebi, and my yemubinum and support your. And about, I can tell you about 80% Ghanaians now are happy with the way John Dramani Mahama and NDC are going, are moving this country towards. It tells you about 20% now mark of MPP for. Some of them also any MPP for any binum any say division abom. Ebu Mahmoud Bomi afa, ebu Kennedy afa. Ibu o Brian afa, ibu o Kwabreje Japan, Adukim, any the other candidate to Maka. And you can attest to the fact that send this year among with this country well. Now say Alan so sending a message very well across the length and breadth of this country. MPP will collapse. Say the Nakabite Lekano. Engum but a base CPP, a base NDP. Watching the metro nasa sana be eno onye nguye ayese sebi me nguye me sebi me nso me yanye de me yemfi atiase fo asase so me nka atiase fo ho enti nen ebeye afanyinamu anase ebeye se nani guso ono ni akata ni nyankata enti MPP fo nyiro mo na o make sure say all these things Make MPP. Why should I? I don't even know the reason why I keep on mentioning MPP, whilst I am referring to Alliance New Party. What let me say? So Alliance New Party will gain will gain a good grounds if only they present themselves well, if only they get good communicators like Solomon Owusu and Allah Ayeyura. And I've realized he also one of the best communicator. Abubakar Sadiq and Yaboabian Samoa and so because all these people, they are people they have led MPP before. Yaboabian Samoa was once communications and something minister. Yes, I stand to be corrected. And he told he has once served as a general secretary in the MPP. So you can attest to the fact. And also, Hobson Adoye, he has taken a key factor position in the MPP. What did I say? That's Solomon Owusu. So they are all, and Alan himself has served MPP very well. Young Executive Forum and those kind of, you see, it tells you, say, you know, so put two things together and they are going on the same direction. It will be what? It will be attractive to people in 2028, and people will even choose them more than MPP. Even when they will not win election now, they will be able to showcase themselves to the top. Among who say, oh, you people in the 3 years, 4 years, it is performing well. It is Alan and Crawford, monkey come on. Na yengu MPP because MPP na what is yan, it is bunch of criminals, it is bunch of lies, bunch of disrespectful beings, and on one for the panyashi, and no other say when you're position, no moody, not said the about for a bleedy, no mooding of them now one can say to trouble on in just a sabotaging any a lot of dishonest and I keep it on MPP on where they are now. It is Alan now no put things together. I think things are going to turn around for your betterment. It is sanity. It is young fast that a map no members na ya addressy you your moka say TV terrain so I are there. What I say Alfredo can see and show no very hot and what energizing. Chawadu comment section manum you are number one authentic platform negative yankopon koswa and come be beyond Ishra. Bye bye.